We are here today to inform our business associates of the culture of Saudi Arabia. At the end of our presentation, the audience will be aware of the customs and communication styles unique to Saudi Arabia. Custom and communication styles are very different in Saudi Arabia than here in the United States. To effectively do business in Saudi Arabia, we must know the most effective way to communicate with Saudi Arabians while conducting business in their country. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're around someone else or a group of people with a different cultural background than yours? It can be difficult to communicate with them without prior knowledge of their communication styles and gestures, and without that knowledge, you may find yourself being offensive and rude towards them without meaning to. We are here to help you learn about the culture of Saudi Arabia so that while we are here, you won't make those errors. Hello everyone and good afternoon. We are Emily, Francis, and Caitlin. We'd like to discuss with you the cultural differences between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Many conversational styles and gestures and their meanings differ between cultures, and by viewing our presentation, you will learn which are appropriate and which are not in Saudi Arabian cultures. We have studied a collection of books and literary journals about the Saudi Arabian culture and have also researched it on the internet. First, we will discuss the proper dress to wear while conducting business. We will continue with the communication styles and how they differ from those in the United States. And we will work our way into discussing the do's and don'ts when conducting business in Saudi Arabia. And finally, we will finish by discussing appropriate and inappropriate gestures.
When conducting business in Saudi Arabia, it's important to pay attention to their communication styles so that you can prevent any potentially offensive actions. To start our discussion, I'd like to discuss proper business attire that you should wear while conducting business in Saudi Arabia. The correct dress can decide whether you have a successful business meeting or a disastrous one. For men, the proper attire would be a dark business suit worn over a suit and a tie, paired with leather shoes. For women, you should wear loose-fitting clothing with a high neckline, and then either wear pants or a long skirt that reaches your toes. You can also wear whatever shoes you prefer. To stand out less in public, you may wear a traditional robe with a headscarf, and avoid wearing any gold chains or any excessive jewelry, especially jewelry with crosses on them. Neither men nor women should wear clothing that displays their knees. Moving on, I'd like to discuss communication styles that are verbal and nonverbal that are used in Saudi Arabia. It's very important to pay close attention to the laws and customs of Saudi Arabia when conducting business, as it's easy to make a simple mistake and highly offend somebody. Saudi Arabians use indirect, high context, formal, expressive, and circular forms of communication while conducting business. You should imply or suggest what is meant, and it may be necessary to read between the lines to interpret what is being said. The way you dress, your tone of voice, and your personal demeanor all carry a message. When conducting business in Saudi Arabia, you should be aware of the hierarchy. Ritual greetings, showing polite interest, and eye contact are all important parts of establishing a business relationship. Emotional displays are common and expected while conducting business in Saudi Arabia. It shows that you are interested in what the person is saying and that you are giving them your full attention span. Conversations with Saudis tend to switch between topics a lot, so make sure you're paying close attention. And when communicating nonverbally, it is very easy for information to be misinterpreted. Nonverbal communication is an important aspect in business meetings in Saudi Arabia. Saudis tend to use gestures very liberally, men using them more than women. Being too familiar with the opposite sex can be misinterpreted in a negative way in Saudi Arabia. You should avoid overly animated greetings, casual invitations to lunch, and joking conversations. Public displays of affection between men and women are strictly forbidden. Men, however, can hold hands in public without any scrutiny. Not shaking hands upon meeting someone or when saying goodbye is considered to be rude. And Western men should never shake hands with a Saudi woman. Saudis generally stand close together while conducting business or having a conversation. If you stand at a distance, it shows distaste for the other person that you're communicating with.
I would like to now discuss the particular do's and don'ts in Saudi Arabian society. It's very important to understand the differences between our culture and the Saudi Arabian culture. Specifically, the reason why is to avoid certain things while we're conducting business. Business decisions are made slowly. Do not rush the process. You will come off as untrustworthy to them, and also you want to reinstate all of your points to interpret that you're telling the truth. Never use high-pressure tactics. They don't like to have their decisions pressured and made quickly. They are open to discussing religion and politics, and they're also fine with you inquiring about their family, but they are not okay with you inquiring about their wife. Meetings won't be private until a relationship has been established. If a new person wanders off, on a subject, they will not come back to that subject until that person has left the room. They will judge you based on your appearance and how you look. So, say if a woman is not in the correct position or not in the correct dress, they probably won't even speak to her or even let her into the room. Business cards are typically given in through the public, but you also want to make sure that you put it on Arabic in the back of the card so that they can understand what you're talking about. During a conversation, never lean against a wall or put your hands in your pockets. Okay, so basically when we're talking about the hands and, stuff, your body language, we're going to continue on to gestures and conversational gestures that pop up in a business meeting that you want to make sure that you're aware of. Gestures and meaning from culture to culture, they're different between everything, so you want to make sure that you are following the correct gestures while you're in that country. Pointing or giving a thumbs up is considered rude, much like it is in the United States, except for, obviously, the thumbs up. That's usually a good thing in the United States. Showing the bottom of your foot is also considered to be rude. Do not cross your legs while sitting, which will show the bottom of your foot. The left hand is considered to be unclean, so they say to also use your right hand for eating, for shaking hands, and also doing gestures. Avoid talking about illness, accidents, death, or bad luck. They also try to focus on doing a positive environment and making sure that everything is okay in a positive way. So also talking about that, every culture is different in their communication styles, and it's very important to keep in mind that you keep these in for business, going and studying abroad. To conclude this, above all else, remember the way to dress and the styles of communication that are important in Saudi Arabia if you ever have to go over there for a meeting. Proper dress, communication styles, and certain gestures can be the deciding factor between a good business meeting and a bad business meeting. It's important to remember the styles different between cultures, and without prior knowledge to that culture could offend someone. Above all else, know your customer and establish and maintain relationships with your clientele. I hope this presentation has informed everyone about the cultural aspects of doing business in Saudi Arabia, and thank you guys for listening today and joining us.